Now here in the UK, dangerous and illegal muscle-building supplements are being sold to gym goers across the country.
The complementary medicines industry is worth more than $5 billion a year.
But there are growing concerns that people might be inadvertently poisoning themselves.
It almost takes a sacrificial lamb to die before the Food and Drug Administration can take any action.
I remember seeing these ominous posters of a SARM protein powder around my local discount shop, so I took a photo to try and find out what was going on. Advertised as a mix of protein powder, creatine, and vitamins, which made the excessive caffeine content warning even more strange. It was found to contain 5,000 milligrams of caffeine per serving by food standards, over 10,000 milligrams of caffeine if you were to follow the advice on the packaging and take 2 scoops, the equivalent to around 100 cups of coffee. But that's just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to contaminated gym supplements. Recently, researchers tested over 3,000 supplements. 28% contain hidden banned substances, mostly steroids. This got me interested in the world of banned gym supplements. It turns out many are still on the market thanks to legal loopholes. So let's take a look at some of the most notorious, leading up to the worst. Fortunately, the SARM incident had no reported deaths, unlike Ephedra. Marketed as a natural fat burner, Ephedra was once used by 12 million people. Its secret? Ephedrin, an amphetamine-like stimulant that boosts metabolism and fat loss. It spikes heart rate and blood pressure, with over 10,000 poisonings in 2002 alone. More than 800 dangerous reactions have been reported, including heart attacks, strokes, seizures, and sudden deaths. Most notably, that of baseballer 𝗕𝗲𝗶𝗴𝗏.
He was the 23-year-old pitcher who collapsed during spring training with the Baltimore Orioles and died last February. He had taken Ephedra and it was cited as a factor in his death.
You take Ephedra caffeine products, they heat you up and there's no release of the heat. You get very hot like a furnace with the door shut. And that's what happened here, and his body temperature went up to 108 degrees.
If you have a high blood pressure or heart issues, taking supplements chemically similar to amphetamines can be dangerous. Yet it took a high-profile death to catch the FDA's attention, revealing a little-known fact. 1 in 3 Americans believe supplements are FDA tested, but they're not. Classified as food and not drugs, they bypass pre-market approval entirely.
The FDA does not do any review of dietary supplements before they come onto the market, and I think that all consumers need to understand this.
This loophole makes supplements cheap and easy to sell, but it also lets unsafe products slip through. And the FDA only steps in after enough harm has been done. So in 2004, after the baseball player's passing, Ephedra was finally banned, but its replacement was already on the rise.
A coroner has ruled today that a woman who collapsed during the London Marathon probably died as a result of taking a legally available performance-enhancing drug.
DMAA gained popularity in the mid-2000s as a go-to stimulant in pre-workouts, prized for its energy and mood-boosting effects. It became the key ingredient in the most notorious pre-workout, Jack3D.
I always get the question of, does Jack3D work? Hell yeah, it works.
It was a compound loved by gym goers.
I worked out so hard. I did 300 reps of bench, to the point where my triceps were bruised from how much I worked out.
In fact, it was that good. I bought a whole tub and took it to Ibiza. I just tipped in two scoops of Jack3D, and I'll tell you now, I outdanced everyone.
You were on top of the world. You're on meth.
Often marketed as a natural geranium extract, DMAA dodged FDA scrutiny, spreading fast. By 2012, 22% of Army and Air Force personnel used it, 10% using it weekly. It was after 𝗕𝗏𝗄𝗽𝗏 collapsed near the London Marathon finish line after drinking Jack3D for a final burst of energy that the FDA grew concerned.
The coroner described 𝗕𝗏𝗄𝗽𝗏 as a fit and healthy 30-year-old who'd run plenty of marathons in the past, but he concluded she died of cardiac arrest coupled with extreme exhaustion and complicated by the effects of the supplement DMAA.
Public scrutiny intensified after the amphetamine derivative was linked to the passing of 2 active duty soldiers. The increasing incidence of strokes, heart attacks and deaths prompted studies that would debunk the seller's claims of DMAA being a natural supplement, revealing no measurable levels of the substance in geranium plants. Yet, sellers continued to use the appeal to nature fallacy as a marketing shield, convincing customers that it was safer than it really was. By doing so, they were able to avoid the rigorous testing requirements typically imposed on drugs.
It's just interesting to go back and look at formulas that you thought like back in the day, like, wow, that was like the best shit ever. And in reality, all we were doing is pretty much taking amphetamines and going to the gym.
After the linked deaths and public backlash, by 2013, the FDA made the product illegal. Many gym goers were disappointed, so companies rushed to exploit the next loophole, slightly altering the chemical structure of banned substances so they can repackage and sell them, with Driven Sports about to make headlines for all the wrong reasons.
Craze by Driven Sport.
I absolutely love this supplement. It's the only pre-workout that I really gave a 10 out of 10 out.
2 scoops.
Craze was marketed as performance fuel that provides the ultimate in pre-workout powder. It was even the new supplement of the year on bodybuilding.com and was available from Walmart. But when professional athletes started failing drug tests after using the powder, scientists quickly stepped in to investigate its contents.
Health alert now about the popular sports supplement called Craze.
It tested positive for an 𝗕𝗲𝗃𝗃phenylethylamine, a methamphetamine analog not listed on the ingredients label.
Craze really is crazy.
Sometimes supplements are intentionally spiked with hidden ingredients to make products work better and to boost sales.
So I think they're playing with stimulants to try to find something that will get people juiced up, revved up to work out, make them feel better.
Not all supplements are tainted on purpose. One of the most ironic cases of accidental contamination is the shocking story of Purity First, a brand that promised clean supplements, but delivered something far more dangerous. Federal regulators received 29 reports of side effects connected with the company's vitamin B supplements, including fatigue, muscle cramping, and hospitalization.
My daughter is an honor student. She's on the swim team, but she's been thrown out of school for being overly aggressive. I'm talking to a woman who had lost her position in a choir because her voice had changed. I'm talking to another woman who said, I've got these incredible bleeding scales on my head.
The agency confirmed the company's B50 supplement tested positive for methestroline and dimethazine, 2 anabolic steroids.
And he said, Joe, he said, if they found any type of steroids in there, the only thing I could possibly think is maybe the mixer was not cleaned enough.
Some companies use the same manufacturers as companies who produce banned substances, which introduces a very real contamination risk.
It's not always happening by the supplement company. A lot of the times it's that the manufacturers are not adhering to the standard they're supposed to.
Yet, the company refused to recall the product. Some companies are perhaps even more shameless when it comes to supplements.
Improved cardiovascular health. How the would you claim that? 500 milligrams of caffeine, 100 milligrams of the most aggressive stimulant known to man in the pre-workout industry, and 5 milligrams of an HPTA suppressive SARM.
You see, you can sell almost anything, as long as you label the substance as not for human consumption, something which leaves users with zero safety guarantee or protection, which is why to this very day, you can find some pretty sketchy stuff in your local supplement shop.
This employee at a Nutrition Zone store in New Jersey was selling Dark Energy, even though it was recently banned by the FDA because it contained an illegal stimulant, often compared to methamphetamine.
If you like Dark Energy, you better get it now, because I'm telling you, when this video goes up now, I bet you that whole box is gonna be sold out by midnight tonight.
This is sometimes used to add questionable research chemicals as performance enhancers to things like pre-workouts, and is often paired with misleading claims, because labels can legally include vague or exaggerated claims like boost energy or supports fat loss without any solid evidence, just as long as they don't explicitly promise to treat or cure diseases. Which got me thinking, how bad does a supplement have to be banned in every single country for consumption? DMP is a chemical compound originally used by the French to make explosives. People noticed that those exposed to it were feeling fatigued, experiencing elevated body temperatures, but also losing weight, so doctors began experimenting with it to treat obese patients, only for it to be quickly pulled from the market after realizing the severity of the side effects. People started dying, including one man who overdosed and literally cooked to death, so it was quickly banned in the US in 1938. and declared unfit for human consumption. Bad experiment with a dangerous poison.
DNP can be legally sold as an industrial fertilizer, but not as a weight loss tool.
Signs of acute poisoning include vomiting, flushed skin, sweating, dizziness, headaches, and irregular heartbeats. But some people have found out the hard way.
It's about 17% of cases that are referred to us will end up having died. That's a massive figure compared to most substances that we deal with.
One victim, 28-year-old 𝗕𝗲𝗃𝗃𝗃, died after taking the substance at a gym. Despite his fatality, the BBC reported that hidden sites on the dark web are still selling the chemical. You see, ingredients banned in some countries may still be legal or unregulated elsewhere, allowing companies to import and sell products containing these substances as a chemical ingredient. One such seller was 𝗕𝗲𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃, who sold the compound to the 21-year-old daughter of a man who would end up confronting him in his apartment.
You sold her the DMP that killed her. I watched her die in hospital in 4 hours.
I'm really sorry if I could do anything.
Some sellers are even less remorseful.
Rebello's home was raided, but he continued to sell DNP on his website after Eloise died. Judge Jeremy Don QC sentenced Rebello to 7 years in prison. He said, "You showed no remorse and had a callous disregard for the safety and lives of those to whom you peddled this toxic chemical."
With the gym supplement industry projected to be worth over $30 billion by 2030, bad actors in the industry are inevitable. Most supplement sellers aren't trying to put you in a hospital bed, but there's thousands of bottles of inaccurately labelled supplements in supermarkets, on Amazon, and on more sketchy websites.
It's tough for supplement companies to stop selling you BS if you just keep demanding and buying BS.
If your method of choosing a pre-workout was the same as mine, going for the most potent, hardcore looking stuff, I think this is enough to warrant more research. So what did the experts say you can do to avoid unintentionally doping? Firstly, look out for any ingredients that have numbers coupled with Greek characters, which indicates the product might contain steroids or stimulants, as do endings like this. You should also opt for companies that can prove they're third-party tested, which helps prevent them from mislabeling products.
Yeah, like Aegis Shield, NSF, Informed Choice, Informed Sport.
And of course, if it looks like it was created in some troglodyte's basement, stay away. Many of the supplements that get flagged for dodgy stimulants and steroids look like they contain them. I'm all for supporting local, but not when it's Barry cooking up a lethal pre-workout in his rock tumbler. This is another good case for only taking supplements you truly need and benefit from.
There's a lot of bullshit out there when it comes to supplements. The best resource out there right now is examine.com.
If more people understood these industry loopholes and cared more about the quality of their supplements, the standards would be much higher, and a lot of unnecessary hospital trips could be avoided. So any comments, likes and shares would be greatly appreciated to get the video pushed to more people. One of the most controversial supplements right now? SARMs. So if you want the honour of witnessing the SARM goblins in their natural habitat, watch this video next.